Enter a world where feathers shimmer like jewels, and every wing beat tells a story. In 10 most beautiful birds in the world, beauty defies logic, evolving in brilliant colors, graceful flights, and silent rituals. Watch the resplendent Quetzal drift through cloud forests, its emerald tail trailing like silk in the mist. See the Wilson's bird of paradise sweeping his stage before bursting into dance. These birds aren't just seen, they're felt. So take a breath, look closer, and let wonder unfold. If your heart stirs, subscribe to BBTV Official and stay curious. There's still so much more to discover, just beyond the next branch. Resplendent Quetzal, Pheasant mochino. Emerald mist hangs between ancient trees, and for a breathless moment, something flickers, like a piece of the sky torn loose and dipped in fire and jade. That shimmer belongs to the resplendent Quetzal, Pheasant mochino, a bird so sacred to the Maya that it was believed to carry the spirit of the gods. Its name echoes through cloud forests from southern Mexico to western Panama, tied to freedom, royalty, and the breath of the wind itself. Perched high in the canopy of cool montane forests, the Quetzal favors dense, moss-laden branches draped in orchids and bromeliads. These mist-shrouded forests offer camouflage and quiet, allowing the bird's colors to flash only when it chooses to be seen. Measuring about 14 inches from beak to tail, though the streaming upper tail coverts of the male can add over 25 inches more, the Quetzal's silhouette is unforgettable. Iridescent green feathers ripple like molten metal, while its crimson breast glows like a fruit split open in sunlight. Males boast crests of fine emerald filaments and twin tail plumes that trail behind them like silk ribbons on the wind. To feed, it hovers briefly, plucking small fruits, especially wild avocados, before vanishing into the canopy. It also snacks on insects and small vertebrates, especially during the nesting season when protein matters most. Quetzals nest in tree cavities, often excavated from rotting wood. Mated pairs share nesting duties, laying up to 2 pale blue eggs and taking turns guarding and feeding the chicks. Then, when clouds swirl and shafts of light pierce the forest, he bursts into flight, an emerald comet streaking across a dreamscape, disappearing as swiftly as he came, leaving only wonder in his wake. Wilson's bird of paradise, Cichinurus respublica. Beneath the tangled roots of Papua's untouched forests, where sunlight pools in golden patches and the ground breathes with damp life, an artist begins his work. He clears his canvas, a small patch of earth swept spotless, then waits, silent and electric. This is the stage of the Wilson's bird of paradise, Cichinurus respublica, perhaps the most dazzling performer in nature's theater. Found only on 2 remote islands of Indonesia's Raja Ampat archipelago, Waigeo and Batanta, this elusive bird lives within dense lowland rainforests, where vines twist like script and every leaf trembles with life. It is endemic to these islands, a gem hidden in the Pacific's emerald crown. At barely 6 inches long and weighing less than 2 ounces, the male's size is modest, but his appearance defies belief. His bald crown glows in neon turquoise, like a gemstone forged under lightning. Velvet black wings meet a fiery red mantle, while golden shoulder plumes and curling tail wires shimmer with every twitch. His legs and feet, a surreal shade of blue, tap and glide as part of an elaborate dance. Feeding on fruits, insects, and small arthropods, he forages quietly through the underbrush, but reserves his greatest energy for display. When mating season arrives, he transforms into a whirlwind of color and motion, bowing, hopping, and whirring in a ritual refined over millennia. The female, cloaked in subtler tones of olive and brown, watches from above. If impressed, she descends to mate, his brilliant effort rewarded. And then he vanishes once more into the shadows, leaving only a spotless stage behind an echo of the performance and the ghost of impossible color still shimmering in the forest light. Taiwan blue magpie, Urosissa caerulea. Color cascades through the mountains of Taiwan like a blue flame with wings. In the folds of misty forests, where ferns unfurl and cypresses lean into the clouds, a flash of ultramarine streaks between the trees. This is the Taiwan blue magpie, Urosissa caerulea, known locally as the long-tailed mountain lady, a bird both wild and regal, revered as much for its beauty as for its presence in folklore. Endemic to Taiwan, this species makes its home in broadleaf evergreen forests, often at mid-elevations between 3,300 and 7,500 feet. It thrives in both protected reserves and wooded edges near human settlements, drifting with ease between the realms of wilderness and civilization. Measuring up to 26 inches in length, nearly half of which is tail, the magpie's silhouette is unforgettable. Its body gleams in vivid sapphire blue, offset by a black velvet head and a coral red beak and legs. The tail is a masterpiece, long, flowing and tipped with crisp white bands, rippling behind like a trailing ribbon in flight. Highly social and remarkably intelligent, these magpies forage in groups, swooping through the canopy with synchronized grace. Their diet includes fruits, insects, reptiles, and even small mammals, each meal accompanied by bursts of sharp calls that echo through the forest like chimes. During breeding season, pairs build large cup-shaped nests high in the trees. Both parents share incubation duties and fiercely defend their territory, often chasing away intruders in dramatic aerial duels. As evening light filters through the trees, a family of magpies drifts together across the valley, their tails drawing calligraphy in the air, silent strokes of blue ink that vanish just as they're written. Paradise Tanager, Tangara chilensis. Sunlight trickles through the canopy of the Amazon like liquid gold, illuminating bursts of color that seem too vivid to belong to the natural world. Among these explosions of life flits the Paradise Tanager, Tangara chilensis, a bird so brightly adorned, it appears painted by the rainforest itself in a moment of creative excess. Despite its species name suggesting a link to Chile, this jewel of a bird is found across the lowland tropical forests of the Amazon basin, from Venezuela to northern Bolivia, weaving through Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. It prefers the mid to upper canopy, where dense leaves shimmer with dew and insects dance in shafts of light. Measuring around 5.5 inches in length, the Paradise Tanager is a living prism. Its head radiates a neon green hue, transitioning into a black mantle that sharpens the contrast of its palette. The rump can glow sky blue, turquoise, or aquamarine, depending on the regional morph, always followed by a shock of crimson or deep orange at the lower back. Wings of dark velvet complete its kaleidoscopic appearance. It travels in mixed flocks, darting nimbly among branches in search of ripe fruit and small insects. Each movement is quick, precise, and accompanied by soft chirps, notes that seem to ripple like light off a mirrored surface. During breeding season, they fashion small nests high in the canopy using rootlets, moss, and spiderwebs. Females lay 2 eggs, pale and speckled, and both parents contribute to raising the young in leafy obscurity. When it takes flight, its body becomes a streak of rainforest fire, an improbable burst of color gliding through green silence, vanishing into foliage like a brushstroke into canvas. Rainbow Laoraite, Trichoglossus mollucanus. Color doesn't just sit quietly on the rainbow lorikeet, it erupts, bursting through the skies of eastern Australia like a living fireworks display. This parrot turns every eucalyptus grove and coastal garden into a gallery of moving light. Known scientifically as Trichoglossus mollucanus, it's as riotous in sound and energy as it is in hue. Widespread along the eastern seaboard, from Queensland's tropics to Tasmania's cooler reaches, these lorikeets thrive in open woodlands, rainforests, and suburban parks. They're often seen in pairs or swirling flocks, wheeling across the sky with high-pitched chatter that fills the air like carnival music. Measuring about 10 to 12 inches long, they are compact yet strikingly vivid. The head is a deep violet blue, brushed with darker streaks. An orange-red beak gleams under the sun. The breast glows like flame, orange blending into yellow, while green wings and tail flash emerald and lime. Their colors aren't random. They're radiant camouflage in flowering trees, where blossoms mirror their palette. Equipped with a specialized brush-tipped tongue, the rainbow lorikeet feeds primarily on nectar and pollen. It plunges its face deep into flowers, emerging dusted in golden grains, a pollinator with feathers. Fruits, seeds, and the occasional insect supplement its sugary diet. Breeding pairs nest in tree hollows, often returning to the same site year after year. Both parents incubate the clutch, usually 2 eggs, and fiercely defend their cavity with startling aggression for a bird so cheerful in color. When dozens gather in evening light, squabbling over roosts or blossoms, it's as if a rainbow fractured mid-air and reassembled into sound and flight, wild, radiant, and unmistakably alive. Lilac-breasted roller, Corotsias caudatus. Dawn stretches across the African savanna, painting the grasslands gold, and just as the first breeze stirs the acacias, a lilac flame ignites the sky. With wings that catch the light like stained glass in motion, the lilac-breasted roller, Corotsias caudatus, launches from its perch, tracing arcs of color against the horizon. This radiant bird ranges across much of sub-Saharan Africa and parts of the southern Arabian Peninsula, favoring open woodland, thornveld, and scrubland. It often chooses a bare branch or telephone wire as a lookout, scanning the earth below with sharp eyes and a hunter's stillness. Roughly 14 inches in length, its beauty lies in both palette and symmetry. The breast glows lilac, deepening into turquoise across the belly. Shoulders shine emerald green, while the wings, when spread in flight, reveal a flash of cobalt, sky blue, and inky black. 2 elongated tail streamers trail behind like fine calligraphy, shifting with the wind. Though its appearance evokes a gentle soul, the roller is an aerial acrobat and a bold predator. It dives with sudden speed, snapping up beetles, grasshoppers, scorpions, and even small lizards. Its name comes from its spectacular courtship flights, high swoops, dives, and barrel rolls performed mid-air, fireworks set to silence. Nesting often takes place in old woodpecker holes or natural tree cavities. Both male and female share the tasks of incubation and feeding, raising their young in the open savanna, where danger is always near and beauty must be quick to rise and flee. Each time its wings unfold, the landscape transforms, no longer just dust and thorn, but a stage for brilliance. In the stillness that follows its flight, the memory lingers like a brushstroke across the canvas of the sky. Golden pheasant, Chrysolophus pictus. Somewhere in the shadowed bamboo groves of central China, the forest blinks with sudden gold. Between the roots and fallen leaves, a figure glides, half bird, half mirage, its plumage igniting every shaft of light it passes. This is the golden pheasant, Chrysolophus pictus, a bird whose presence feels more like myth than flesh. Native to the mountainous woodlands of western and central China, the golden pheasant prefers dense undergrowth where light filters softly and predators are kept at a respectful distance. Though it's been introduced to other parts of the world, including the UK, it remains most emblematic of Chinese forests, often linked to imperial symbolism and folklore. Reaching around 35 to 41 inches in total length, much of which is its flowing tail, the male is a marvel of visual design. The crown is topped with a gleaming yellow crest that spills backward like liquid sunlight. The cape flares in concentric bands of flame orange and black, fanning out over a deep red body. Lower back and rump flash metallic blues and greens, while the tail, finely barred and elegantly curved, ripples with every step. Though spectacular in color, this pheasant moves with calculated grace, feeding on seeds, berries, and invertebrates hidden beneath the leaf litter. It scratches softly at the forest floor, occasionally emitting quiet clucks as it forages. Come breeding season, the male performs a courtship display like a living firework, crest raised, cape spread, tail lifted, circling the female in a slow, deliberate dance. And once the moment passes, he retreats into the underbrush again, color folding into shadow, as if the forest had only dreamed him for a moment before returning to green and silence. Mandarin Duck, Ix galericulata. Beneath the willow-draped ponds of East Asia, where morning mist curls above still water like breath from the earth, a silent ripple breaks the glassy surface. Gliding across this floating world is the Mandarin Duck, Ix galericulata, a creature so exquisitely adorned that poets once claimed it was painted by the gods in a moment of joy. Native to China, Japan, and parts of Korea and Russia, the Mandarin duck inhabits wooded lakes, slow-moving rivers, and marshes nestled within temperate forests. It also thrives in ornamental gardens and temple ponds, where its presence is regarded as a living symbol of love and fidelity. The male, measuring around 19 inches in length, carries his plumage like royal regalia. Each feature is a flourish. A fiery orange sail of feathers rises like a fan from his back. His chest gleams in rich burgundy. A white eyebrow arcs elegantly above deep-set eyes, and his flanks burn with copper and cream. A bright red bill finishes the composition, offering a sharp contrast to the serenity of his surroundings. By contrast, the female is cloaked in gentle hues of gray and brown, speckled with white. Quietly beautiful, perfectly camouflaged. She selects tree hollows for nesting, sometimes high above ground. After the ducklings hatch, they leap bravely from the nest to the forest floor below, guided by her calls. Pairs often remain together throughout the season, a trait that inspired generations of Chinese art and wedding symbolism. Even when still, the Mandarin duck radiates movement. Its colors ripple like silk across water, a floating brushstroke in a world that rarely holds still long enough to admire such perfection. Snowy owl, Bubo scandiacus. Across the wind-scoured tundra, where light stretches endlessly over snow and silence, a pale figure rises. Wings wide and soundless, it drifts above the frozen expanse like a ghost born from the ice itself. This is the snowy owl, Bubo scandiacus, monarch of the Arctic skies and one of the most striking raptors ever to take flight. Native to the circumpolar north, snowy owls breed on the open Arctic tundra of Canada, Greenland, and northern Eurasia. When winter deepens, some migrate southward into parts of the United States, riding shifting winds across fields, coastlines, and open plains. Males are nearly pure white, their feathers dusted with faint gray, a living sculpture against the snow. Females and juveniles bear darker markings in bars and spots, blending shadow with brilliance. Reaching up to 27 inches in height with wingspans of nearly 5 feet, these owls possess both majesty and might, built to endure the cold and command the sky. Unlike most owls, the snowy owl hunts by day. It perches low on knolls or icy outcrops, scanning the white world for signs of movement. With sudden power, it launches into flight to snatch lemmings, hares, or water birds, locking onto prey with piercing yellow eyes that miss nothing. During the brief Arctic summer, pairs raise their young on the ground, often atop slight rises. The female broods while the male defends the nest, sometimes diving at intruders with fearless precision. Chicks grow fast in the midnight sun, racing to fledge before snow returns. Nothing breaks the tundra's silence quite like the moment this owl takes flight. Wings outstretched, moon pale and effortless, vanishing into a horizon made of wind and light. Cuban Toad, Todus multicolor. In the tangled green heart of Cuba's forests, where sunlight flickers through palm fronds and the air hums with insect life, a spark of color darts like a gemstone with wings. Barely larger than a thumb, the Cuban Toad, Todus multicolor, flits through the understory with a presence far grander than its size suggests, vivid, quick, and impossibly charming. Endemic to the island of Cuba, this tiny bird thrives in a wide range of habitats, from humid rainforests and pine woodlands to coastal thickets and rural gardens. It prefers the shady mid-layers of the forest, where low branches and vines offer both cover and feeding grounds. Measuring just 4.3 inches in length and weighing under a quarter of an ounce, the Cuban Toad is a living palette of tropics. Its head shines apple green, the throat bursts with hot pink, the belly gleams bright white, and the flanks are brushed with turquoise. A ruby-red eye ring adds the final flourish. The combination feels surreal, like a bird imagined in a dream and given life through color. Feeding primarily on insects and spiders, it performs rapid aerial sallies from low perches, snapping prey mid-air or picking them from leaves with precision. Between hunts, it issues a soft, whirring call, more mechanical buzz than bird song. Nesting occurs in tunnels dug into earthen banks or clay walls, where both parents excavate and care for the young. The narrow burrow protects the chicks from predators and tropical downpours alike. Though easy to miss in stillness, once it moves, the forest seems to pause, if only for a heartbeat, to admire this tropical spark, vanishing between the leaves like a secret kept by the island itself. Each bird in this journey holds more than beauty. It carries the quiet magic of the natural world. From the emerald flight of the Quetzal to the flicker of the Cuban Toad, these creatures remind us that wonder is always near, waiting in branches, in skies, in stillness. As we close this chapter, may their colors stay with you, not just in memory, but in how you see the world. If this journey moved you, we'd love to have you along for the next. Subscribe, share your thoughts, and let's keep discovering together.